Welcome to the Teacher Squad podcast, episode 3. What are we going to talk about this week, Jane?
Well, I'm going to talk about things that come quickly. Whoosh.
Oh, well, I'm going to go all doom and gloom, and I'm going to have a bit of a rant. I'm going to get the soapbox out.
Oh, dear. Well, I'm looking forward to meeting Ginny Bootman, who is our specialist Sendco, who's going to be talking about the power of listening to the quiet voices.
Oh, yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And then Wonder of Words, there's going to be a little bit of poetry and maybe some murder.
Well, let's get started, Heather. We've got a lot to get in this week.
Let's do it.
Hello, Heather. How was your week? I tell you what, I had a bit of a nightmare week. I really did.
Why?
Oh my goodness. We have this rule in our family, like everyone goes to bed together. You can't do sneaky sleeps. You can crash on the sofa, but you can't like suddenly go upstairs and get into bed. But I just thought all the family's distracted. I'm just going to sneak up, put my gym jams on, have a little lie down. Then there's a load of kerfuffle on the street. Look out. And there's a road rage, full-on attack, and a man punching another man through the window 4 times. So I run down, and I'm suddenly in the middle of this de-escalation, phone the ambulance, blood. Yeah, it's a bit, yeah.
Oh, Jane, where do you even live?
Oh, my goodness. I'll tell you one thing. Where I live, we are top draw for car insurance. Yeah. I'll tell you why I'm here. I'm here because I tried living in the countryside and looking at donkeys and chickens. And
Donkeys?
It was boring. Didn't like it. So I'm now right in the thick of it.
You need to be at the seaside.
Oh, tell me about your week. I hope it was better than mine.
Well, it's been a busy week, a very busy week, and chicken pox have invaded the house, which is not great.
No.
So we've been on mad hunt for calamine lotion. Is that how you say it? Calamine? Calamine? Is that me being really old-fashioned?
She got it on her tongue.
No, it's just on the back at the moment. Hopefully it'll stay there. But I felt really old-fashioned going, oh, we need the calamine. Is that what you do? Or is there a new fandangled remedy?
No, that's called good mothering, calamine. Yeah.
Oh, I am Mother Earth. That's me.
Oh.
Not.
Roll with it.
I'm
Mum
going
of the
with
Year
it.
award.
I'll just get a mug. I'm sure I've got one anyway.
Oh dear. And well, sorry about the punch bag story, but actually, hello, you have forced me to do this every week. I have noticed you're a bit grumpy this week, actually, Heather. I just think the tables have turned.
I'm supposed to be rubbing off on you, not the other way round. I'm just tired, I think.
Oh dear. But in light of what you make me do every week, I have been seeking out the science, and it takes 4 positive things to happen, 4 to overcome 1 negative thing. And I've been reflecting on that ever such a lot. Is that why I had to sleep with a lot of people when I was younger?
Oh my goodness.
No, I'm here.
We should move on.
Yeah. What is your little nugget of niceness this week, Heather?
Well, I'm grateful for a lot of things. When it's a busy week, loads of good stuff's happened. So I'm going to tell you 2 good things that have happened. Most of the week, I've been surrounded by beautiful, brand new children's books being wrapped up in gorgeous tissue paper, going out in our Reading Rocks teacher subscription boxes, which is so exciting to just be thinking about all the book joy going out into all the schools across the country. Can you see I'm getting excited?
Yeah, I love it. And I've been involved in choosing some of those books that go out, and it is just a real delight. That is a real slice of nice, isn't it? And just how grateful teachers are that you put so much thought into curating that. That's not easy. The amount of hard work I know you put in behind the scenes, liaising with publishers and getting good deals for people. And actually, it's not just Ross, it's you are thinking about the best books for year groups and the top quality books that are going to help curriculum, their teacher thinking. I mean, you really do work tirelessly for that.
Ah,
You know,
thanks, Jane.
no, you
Doesn't
really
feel
do.
like I'm working hard, but I know it's something that takes time, and that's what we're trying to do, give the teachers back that time because, time short profession.
Mm,
Um, but my
yeah,
second piece of gratitude, can tell you that as well, squeeze it in. On Friday last week, I was at a brilliant reading school in St Austell, and they had a massive launch day for the BBC 500 Words competition.
amazing.
7 authors, and then about 8 other primary schools from the local area all came in. Oh, it was a really, really good day. It just filled me up with lots of book joy, and to see all the inspiration just kind of pinging off around the
Mm.
room. So, what
Yeah.
about you, Jane? Come on. What are you grateful
Oh,
for?
well, my slice of nice isn't very, I suppose, save the planet ish. And I feel a bit shameful actually about my bit I'm grateful for. I have discovered this week Tesco Whoosh. Now, I don't know where you live. You might not get a whoosh, but this comes freaking whooshingly quick. Let me tell you, you it's you just
I'm
on your phone.
intrigued.
It's just Tesco's, and but it's a whoosh delivery service, which means it's kind of within you. You don't have to book a delivery slot. It's here, uh, you know, really quick. And
How quick?
well, where we live, honestly, 3 minutes, 4 minutes. It is that
No.
quick, super speedy.
I'm going to
And
guess that we don't get that in Cornwall.
no,
Everything
you
comes
won't get.
directly.
And the other thing is, I don't want this to sound like really gushy and off-putting, and it might sound like I've been arguing with my husband Ian all week. I haven't. I've really, and don't misinterpret this as I'm making this about loving my hubby, but he whooshed. I was, in awe. And then, have you ever done this? Like I've been on this planet for 52 years and I've never known this. Double cream, like you're going to make like a chicken in cream sauce, but cream, half cream, hear me out, half cream, half um, chicken stock. Now, of course, I've used chicken stock before in doing casseroles and gravy, but I've never done cream and chicken stock and cream. That is
And was it good?
Oh, so good. So between whoosh and chicken stock and cream, I've got to say, I think I don't know if it's because of the quickness I enjoyed. Oh, don't quote me out of context. Or the cream. Oh, hello. I just loved it. Oh, it was gorgeous. Top 10 meals of my marriage. Yeah,
Oh, I'm
so,
loving that. Do you not
yeah.
think, Jane, that like an amazing TA can be that whoosh moment when you just
Yes.
need something, and just by utter magic, it's like they haven't even left the room and they just know where it is, even in your like super messy cupboard. Is this what you were looking for, Mrs. Wright?
Whoosh. Yes, that is what TAs are. They are the
Magic.
whoosh of your life, aren't they? Oh God, yeah. Oh, I love my TA. Oh, Wendy. Oh, my first ever TA. Like she was a whoosh. She just saved my bacon so many times. Yeah. What that
Have you ever
woman
given
could
a whoosh
do.
as well? Have you ever done that thing? It's a read, write, ink thing, isn't it? Where like kids have done something else and you give them a whoosh.
Yeah, a candy floss clap.
Oh,
Yeah,
all that, yeah.
all of that jazz. So yeah, I've
Or
had yeah,
3 stars and a wish.
yeah, 3 stars and a
Sorry,
wipe.
3 wipes. 3 wipes and a wish.
Oh,
Episode
man.
1 giggle, that one. Oh, no, episode 2 giggle, that one.
Oh, dear. So, we've got to sum things up in sentences, haven't we? Sometimes it's hard, isn't it, to get it down in a, in a pithy way. But what has yours been um, this week? What's on
Well,
your mind, Heather?
before I go into my sentence, which maybe you are, rubbing off on me, it's a bit of a ranty sentence this week.
Ooh.
But before I do that, I feel like I've been spotting lots of sentences when I go to visit schools. Maybe you've spotted them as well. When you go to the staff toilets, I
Mm.
there's always a poster on the
Yeah.
back of the door. Let me see. I've saved one for you, Jane. They're everywhere. This one says, oh, hang on, here we go. In times of change, the learners will inherit the earth, while the knowers will find themselves beautifully equipped to deal with a world that no longer exists.
Oh, hello. It's a bit deep, isn't it, while you're having a wee?
A bit deep while you're having a wee. Yeah, and another one. Let me find it. This is what my phone's full of, people. But pictures the back of a door when I'm having a little wee in the staff toilets. Please don't imagine us in the toilets. In the middle of difficulty lies opportunity. I mean, that's one to have when you're sitting down on a loo, isn't it? Apparently, that's Albert Einstein. But I was thinking, oh,
I
wow,
don't
there's these
believe it.
sentences all over the place, and they're placed perfectly, for a woman while she's having a wee to see. But
Mm.
what if they're like unisex toilets or in men's toilets? Have they got them above the urinals? Perfectly
I
sightline for
don't
the male
know.
teachers. I feel like I need to know these things. And I feel like I want I want the teacher squad to send us some of these sentences. Like you said, Jane, we're working really hard to sum these things up.
Yeah.
We need some help to hear from the
Yeah.
squad. Send us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook.
Oh,
What sentence posters, good, bad, ugly, have you got in your school or schools that you're visiting? You're going to
it,
spot one this week, Jane. I know you are.
oh God, yeah. It's yeah. Sometimes I go into loos. I'll tell you a story about once when I was in a loo. Um, This is when I worked for the county council, and we had to do some, like horrific mock steads and things. And it was when I was young and naive, and I knew no better. But I was in the toilet, and it was a 3 cubicle affair, and one of the ladies started talking to another lady about the inspection, and she said, "Oh yes, the one with the red skirt. Yeah, don't like her. Yeah, she's a cow." I'd like, you're in there. That's me. I was like, do I leave? Do I stay in there? Don't know.
What did you do? Did you just
I
walk
was
out?
too embarrassed to walk out. I just thought I'll have to just pretend I'm having a number two and stay a bit longer because this is too much, too much. But yeah, when you go into loos now in schools, there's a lot. You've got that, and then you've got actually, 4 pages of A4 about safeguarding. It gets a bit
Oh,
stressful, you know.
I don't wanna read safeguarding while I'm having a wee. No, I like those bathrooms where they've got some really
That's not
nice.
very PC, Heather.
Oh,
That's
well,
not very PC.
I'll read it, but just not in the bathroom. Come on. I just, a
Give me a
moment's peace for a
break.
pee. I like those bathrooms that, wash and a proper towel to dry your hands
Yeah,
and those baskets of those things that you might need, and you just think, "Oh, that's really thoughtful that they've put some
yeah,
towels in there and bits and bobs." I like that.
yeah. Or as my girls used to call them, the mouses. Mouses. Mummy needs mouses.
With a string tail.
Yeah.
We
Oh,
know
don't you?
them.
Yeah.
Shall I rant then?
Yeah. Go on then.
Have I prepared you for the rant?
Yeah.
Well, kind of, it's a question. My sentence. Come on. Can we do better than this?
Oh, God, it's a bit contra.
Well, I don't know, it just breaks my heart a little bit when I'm seeing teachers, and this is not a rant at those particular teachers. Um, it's maybe just a rant at the scenario that they've been put in. Really, you will have seen them where they're going. I've been asked to lead an inset on reading for
Yeah.
pleasure, or I've been asked to lead a research on um, maths. I don't know.
Metacognition.
Pardon?
Metacognition.
Metacognition for
Cognition. Yeah.
timbre in music, Jane.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And they're going, "Has anyone got a PowerPoint?
Yeah.
Or has anyone got
Mm,
any ideas?" And
yeah.
I've kind of thrown my hands up and going, "What? What are we doing? Why has the teacher been put in this situation? Why are they being asked to lead some CPD?"
That they're not an expert on, or they're excited about, or passionate, or sometimes
Exactly. You
yeah,
said when we were talking about ECTs last week, and it really stayed with me and struck me that we're giving them this really great base, but then CPD should be this heartbeat, this kind of thing that keeps pulsing right through your career, because we're all still learning individually. But then we're learning as a profession as well, aren't we? There's bigger, maybe not bigger, but people in different positions than us that are doing pieces of research, and it should be informing our practice. And I feel like sometimes SLT are going, we've got to tick this box. We've got this on the school development plan, and we need to say that we've had this training on it. And
mm,
I mean, who is it actually any good for? It's not good for that teacher who's then stressed,
yeah,
feeling vulnerable,
yeah,
um, yeah, and then the other teachers and teaching assistants who are listening to it, well, they're not actually getting any expertise, are they? I'm sure plenty of those teachers make the best of this scenario, and I'm sure lots of people who are supportive in the profession will send them good stuff to share. But it can't be good practice, can it, Jane?
no, no way. But you see it with lessons as well. Like, oh, my mind's gone blank. I've got to do a. Oh, my mind's gone blank. I've got to do a lesson on phonics. And you just think, what? Like, I just think there's a rudeness in it as well. Do you know what I mean? I think when you're inquiring for very small bits of advice, or do you think I should use this picture or this picture, that's absolutely fine. That's almost like you're at the edge of your thinking and you just want a bit of
Yeah,
co-support. But I just think sometimes the cheek of some people as well, like, can you have? But what? Because we're such a sharing, caring community as well. It's like people are handing over stuff that is personal to their school that's taken them, you know, 6 Sundays to write. It's not
yeah,
on, is it? Yeah,
no,
yeah.
absolutely. So I
Hey,
kind of just wanted to shout out, if you're put in that position,
yeah,
then hopefully you can feel bold enough to say, okay, I hear you that this is what you want doing, but I need time. I need somebody to direct me to what research, what book to read, what websites to look at, what other school to visit who are doing this thing.
yeah,
Um, I can't do it unless I'm given the time and the tools.
yeah,
And if you're SLT and you're in that scenario, think carefully about who you're asking. Or
yeah,
if you haven't got that within your school, I get school budgets, but you've got to look outside your four walls. The experts are there. Um, and I know sometimes people feel uncomfortable about an expert coming in who isn't on the chalk face anymore, but they may have been previously, and they bring all that experience, and then they niche down, they go right into what they're focusing on, and that's why they are of benefit, because they are so focused on that thing that you guys need training on, and then they are of value. I just feel like we need, it's not in every school, but I do see it a lot on
mm,
social media.
yeah,
I'm going to breathe,
yeah.
rant
You're
over.
right. You're right, hun. I
Happy
think.
Hev's back.
um, uh, have you got? I think my sentence might be related to yours in some way, actually. Did you want to say anything else, Heather, there? I mean, I've never known you be so on you probably do. You don't normally end in such a gnarly way.
I can do passion at either end of the spectrum, you see, like,
Yeah,
woo, this is amazing, this is nice, woo, let me go. But when I kind of get a bee in my bonnet as well, and it's a kind of, I'm going to go with righteous anger.
yeah,
It's for the good,
yeah,
um, but it does get on my wick. But yeah, I'm
yeah.
done. It's
You're
not good for
done.
me to wallow in it. I've said what I
No,
need to say.
you've
You, you,
offloaded,
you,
babe.
you can go for your sentence now.
Yeah.
Sum it up, Jane.
Well, mine is burn bright, not burn out. And it's this sense that, we're only new into the term, but you can suddenly feel very frazzled. I've met a lot of teachers who have just said to me, first sentence, it's not COVID, it's just a heavy cold. It's not COVID, but I'm really feeling under the weather. It's not COVID, but I feel awful. And,
Yeah.
and it's suddenly already, how do we look after ourselves? And I always think whenever you're checking in with yourself, how are you? One of the good self tests for how you are is I always think people should think about their toenails. Just hear me out on this because
Okay.
if you are everything's good in the hood and you are really prioritizing yourself, uh, toenails are quite low down normally, aren't they, on the priority list? And if you're the state of your nails will always be an indicator of how your self care is going. Have you cut them? Have you degunked them? Have you pushed your cuticles back? And often the answer is no. And that's where you have to start at the bottom and work up, I feel. You know, and like, what are them things used to be called? Them plastic things that were pale blue that your grandmother used to put her feet in, like if a foot spa.
Oh, a
Like
foot spa.
we need to.
Oh,
They're good, aren't they? But we don't. I often think that's why grandparents were always just so chill because they had foot spas. Um,
maybe
but
because they were retired. I don't know, one or the other, Jane.
no, you die if you retire. Honestly, look at the data. Yeah, you don't retire. That's stupid. Um, But we say in our house when we're fed up, what goes first is music. And already this week, I've found. I mean, I travel a lot for my job. I drive into different schools, working with their English curriculums, and sometimes. I sometimes look at when I put the radio on or the dance tunes, and I've been on the road for 48 minutes or 53 minutes, and it's like when you're feeling good that you can just put the music straight on. But when you leave a
Yeah.
school and you're having to think, file, or mull it over, and I think, sometimes as well, I've mulled it over and then I have to pull into a lay-by before I walk into my own house because I've done all the post filing.
Yeah.
It's like brace yourself, you've got to walk into your own house. Are you mentally ready for that? Oh dear. But 83% of teachers are suffering from work-related stress, and I did just want to say, um, it's a start. It's not perfect, but the DFE this summer has launched. We'll put a link into it. The Education Staff Wellbeing Charter, and it is the DFE and Ofsted recognising that they can be part of the problem, like publishing new documents, on a Sunday at 5 o'clock or at midnight, and Ofsted recognising that they're part of the tipping point for stress. And so please go and seek out the Education Staff Wellbeing Charter because it's global and a guidance, but I think schools being sort of hyper specific about, well, what is that in our school, all of the things that we can look after each other. And of course, I'm not going to say anything new. We know the two things that are going to help us. Sleep, we've got to have 8 hours to get through the 4 cycles of sleep, but also exercise. And this rant actually is for me because I actually really quite like exercise. And I've just reflected since we've gone back to school, I've done no exercise. I've done that thing where it's like wall of exhaustion. I can't get out the house. I mean, when I go to the gym, I've got to say it is a bit of a fame 1980s affair. I love a leg warmer, a crop
Oh,
top.
oh, I can see you in all the lycra and the leg warmers, flamboyant. Oh, yes.
Oh, I'll have a headband, I'll have a sweatband. It's coordinated. I love it. But swimming truly is my favorite exercise. But even for me, it gets a bit stressy, the thought of like the damp, rolled, ropey ridge of dampness lodged on my cellulite. That's my knickers, by the way, trying to hoik them up. That it just the thought of that. The thought of that. I can't even get out the house. I know if I get out the house, I will go to the gym or swim, but I
It's
just
that
can't.
bit though, isn't it? It's getting over that. Once the momentum's there,
Yeah,
and yeah, you have to have a word with yourself, don't you? And say, "Come
yeah,
on, just go." Even if I just say, "Well, I'll just do one length,
yeah,
and then I'll get in the hot tub." But once
yeah,
you've got in the pool,
yeah,
and then you've done one, you go, "Oh yeah, I can do another one now."
yeah,
I think it's about carving out the time. I think carve's a good word, isn't it? Because there's a sense of kind of it's a bit hard work to do that, to look at your week and
yeah,
say, "When
yeah.
am I gonna push my cuticles down?"
Yeah. When are you, Heather? When
Marking or cuticles, marking or cuticles, daddy or chips, daddy or chips, chips every time.
chips, no swimming. Oh, yeah, but it's you feel so much better when you do the walk, the swim, the whatever you need to do, the yoga, the lie in a dark room, you know.
I
Um,
think as we go push into autumn
yeah,
and into winter, the darker nights, it's all the more apparent
yeah,
for people to do that because you feel like you're getting less of a day, don't you? You
yeah,
get home and you just go, "Oh my goodness!"
yeah,
So it's important. It really is,
yeah,
and help each other. I think it's if you've got someone that says, "Meet me at this time to do," then you're
yeah,
more likely to get that run done, that walk, that you know.
yeah. I'm just changing the subject now because just ever so briefly because I got reminded this week. Do you remember episode 1 we talked about lesson derailers and we said that
Yes.
the top one was wind, both types, or maybe wasps. Claire Francis Maley got in touch to say, uh, listen to this, that she works overseas. There's a bit of context there. Uh, that her best lesson derailer was the kids go, Miss, 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 it's a snake. And it was a snake. What?
No.
Can you believe that?
No,
Jaw
I would be
dropping.
on the table as well. What
A
kind of
snake.
snake?
A python.
A
I mean,
python!
I mean, really,
What
it's
would you do? It's
just,
okay, kids.
yeah, don't worry.
It's more scared of you than we are of it. Grab the
Oh,
paper
dear
towels.
God. Yeah. So there you go. If that's so if you ever want to work in Thailand, Heather, I can link
Yeah,
you
we're
up.
selling it. Go and be an international teacher.
Good luck. Oh dear.
We've got a great guest today, Jane.
Ooh.
Very
Who we
exciting
got?
guest.
Who we got? Oh, I know. I've
Well,
remembered. No, I haven't forgotten. Ginny. Ginny.
you know who this
I
is. Oh,
know Ginny. I've worked with Ginny. I worked with Ginny when she was a power crazed head teacher. I say power crazed, she's just the most adorable, love bomb, kind hearted woman. I can't wait to talk to Ginny. Really, for me, Ginny's job has morphed and changed, and it's much more in line with her who she is and her principles about life. So I can't wait till she tells you all about that.
I can't wait to chat to her too. So we've been sent a copy of her book, all about being a Sendco, and her character and her voice is so strong through it, and her passion. So It's going to be really, really good chatting to her. So at the moment, she's a send lead across 4 schools and the Sendco for those 4 schools. She's wholly focused on being a Sendco. So should we let her come in? Should we have a little chat to her?
Yeah, come in, Ginny. Can't wait to have a chat. Ginny, you are welcome to the Teacher Squad podcast. I know you and I know each other, but I've known you in your head teacher role. I want to hear all about your new role, your new life, and I suppose what your day-to-day week sort of looks like.
Okay, so yes, we met when I was a head teacher back in 2005, and I'm still linked to that school.
Amazing.
So I went from being the head teacher of the school. I had my son, things changed, and I went back to being a class teacher there, the special needs coordinator of one school, then became the special needs coordinator of 2 schools, and then I had the twins. So
What?
then I became of 4. So yeah, I'm 2 years into being the special needs coordinator of 4 village primary schools. And like you said, I found my place. I found my ness.
Yes.
You know, I've found where I should be, and I'm doing that role 3.5 days a week. And I go across all 4 schools, and it is just part of who I am, really.
And you have
How much of your week? Oh, sorry, Jane. Go on.
Yeah, all I was going to say is one of the things that really struck me when I read your book, and Heather, we're going to put a link for your book, and Ginny, just remind all the listeners what your book's called and who it's published by.
Okay, so my book is Independent Thinking on Being a Sendco. So and it is 100. I'll read from the book. It's 113 tips for building relationships, saving time, and changing lives.
Yeah. And what came through so strong in the book was your words that were kind of echoed all through it. In fact, a pathway through it where you talk about following the empathy road. Tell us more about how you enact that and how you help others to enact that when looking after children who are vulnerable and have challenges and are kind of come under your wing of a Sendco.
So about 5 years ago, I had a eureka moment. It's in the book. I had a eureka moment with Send, and I was sent on a course for a child, about a child. And I had to set the work. I had to go to somewhere far, far away, and the car park was really full. And I arrived at this course not in the best frame of mind. And then I found out about this approach called the PACE approach by Dan Hughes and Kim Golding. And it was that eureka moment for me with special needs. It really was a moment that changed my life. And I have been teaching 25 years, and I was like, why has no one told me about this before? And I came away from that course, and I felt I had to share the message about the PACE approach. And so I did a talk at something called Educate in Northants in 2019. And that was the start of kind of me speaking, because I speak about special needs as well, and me really embracing the empathy road. And then during lockdown, one of my best friends who I've known since being at nursery, she is in marketing nationally. And she said to me, what are you, Ginny? What are you? And I said, you know what I am. And she said, no, you've got to tell me. So, and she said, tell me what other people think about you. And then she said, Ginny, you are follow the empathy road.
Absolutely.
And so she then signposted me to somebody who then gone. She signposted me to somebody who then gave me my logo, which is little red shoes. And I always talk about follow the empathy road. So my logo is 2 red shoes. If you go on my website, it is all about following the empathy road, and it is what I am. And it goes through the book. And the editor, who was amazing, Ian Gilbert, he was like, Ginny, we've got to weave this through. Oh, Jane, I feel something coming to me. It is a theme. You always talked about having themes going through writing. And that is the theme that goes throughout the book, which is about following the empathy road. And I feel so strongly about it for children, for staff, for parents. It's not rocket science, but it just takes a bit of time and reflection.
It came through so strongly in the book, and I have to admit that Sendco is never a role that called to me. In fact, it kind of frightened me that the kind of the paperwork, the pressure, and your book probably wouldn't be one that I would have naturally picked up, but I so enjoyed kind of reading through it. And the bit that struck me strongly was about parents, and you said that they're the highest ally. And I think sometimes in staff rooms, even staff meetings in CPD, we can place parents on this uh, almost as an enemy, and kind of like they don't know. But I loved the way that you said, about the parents, they know the children, and how you nurture those relationships with them, and that us approach. It just really resonated, and I thought it was really powerful. And I actually thought, even though the book says being a Sendco, that all teaching staff need to read that, and understand that relationship building for classroom practice, as well as understanding what the Sendco role is in the school, and senior leaders to kind of understand what their Sendco should be. Tell us a bit more about your approach with parents.
So one of the things that I really, really am passionate about is building relationships with parents, building strong relationships. And when I do talks, one of the talks I do, I talk about the spider's web of trust. And it's about, we as the educator have to spin the first thread from our spinneret. I found out that's what it is. We have to engage with the parents first and find ways to build relationships with them. And also, when they come to us, they are coming from a place that we probably don't know what's happened that morning. We don't know the email they've had from the LEA. We don't know the knockbacks they've had. So I always say, firstly, they're the expert about their child. I always say that I firmly believe in flattening the hierarchy. So they come in, we are as one, and I always offer a cup of tea. And I also look at the arrangement of the room. I love a round table. A round table brings us all together. I don't sit on the tall whizzy chair and they sit on the lower chair, because that's a hierarchy. But I listen. And I had a parent not long ago who'd come to one of our schools, and she spoke to me about her child. And she spoke and she spoke. And I listened, and I talk about listening to understand. And at the end, she said, I like you because you listened to me. And that made me feel really sad, thinking, has she not experienced that before? And so parents come in. I talk about a logos, ethos, pathos approach. Some parents come in very emotionally. They may be quite angry, or they may be very, very upset. And we have to read the parent as they come in to see us. And I'm okay with that. But the one that I have found the most difficult is the logical, the one who comes in with the folder, and they produce the folder. And that really used to freak me out, because I was thinking I'm being judged. Now I say, let's look at the paperwork. And I have amazing parents who do so much of my work for me. I had a meeting the other week. This parent came in, and she had printed stuff out, she'd written on it, then I wrote on it with her, and it's just this togetherness, and it's being actively encouraging parents to really have a voice. And it takes time. I think it takes a year for me and a set of parents to actually trust one another. And the other thing is, they may trust me, then that we may have a little bit of a bump in the road. But because we've got that relationship, that's okay. We can get over get over that. And I also believe in finding time for parents, investing time with parents when they need me, because otherwise it escalates. And I've got so many occasions where parents have said, can I have a minute? And I'm like, oh, I'm just about to do, when I was class-based, I'm just about to do that science experiment that I've been, it's taken me a week to kind of sort out. And then I'm like, if I don't give them those 5 minutes now, they will never come to me again, and that time is lost. So it's about triaging my time as well. And now I say to parents, can this wait? And sometimes they go, yeah, Ginny, it can. The other thing is they call me by my first name, because I'm happy with that. I could talk about this for hours. Sometimes they go, I need you now. And I go, you need me now.
Yeah, that's so important. I think
you make me cry, Ginny, because parents to be able to let their guard down and say, I need you now. And to get to that place with parents, there's lots of, the scary mums, oh, I wish it was a closed door policy, oh, rolling the eyes. We know why we get there as teachers, because time is the most precious commodity of all. But I see you mentioned the folder mum. I've been a folder mum, and I think the folder mum is also it's about anxiety. That's because even though it looks like, hold on a minute, you're keeping paper on me, you're recording things, you're writing things down, and I'm here trying to help your child. It's the parent is also feeling anxious and is scared that words are going to get lost or float away, or decisions, because that's what's happened before.
And it's armor. It's the armor. It's the armor. And what I find is there are lots of parents who are lions and lionesses, and absolutely, that is how it should be, and how they have to be. But what I find is when we are together, I'm getting all literary, but we are literally, that's the right word, isn't it? We are together and we are as one. And then I find when we go into meetings with outside agents, we literally are as one. And people find that, and it upsets me, people find that surprising. So it obviously isn't the norm. When I go to meetings, when I go to mediations, when I go to tribunals, we are as one. School and home, we have no chinks. We have no chinks in our armour. Oh, we're getting all weapony. But we don't, because we are as one. I have meetings before meetings so that parents can talk through what they're going to say. And I say, you don't need me. And they go, I do, because what if I can't speak in that meeting? And then I say, well, I will speak for you. And do you know what? They never need me. But I'm there. But it all takes time. This is what it all comes back to. I'm fortunate. I have got flexibility of time because I am non-class based. I have got a bee in my bonnet about Sencos who are class based, who have a Wednesday afternoon for their Sendco time. And if you're not careful, you get sent those children who are quite challenging, and you are supposed to be doing your Sendco work. There's a training on a Friday, but you can't go because you're in class. So I'm in a very fortunate position, being a Sendco of 4 primary schools. I can go on the training and then it benefits my 4 schools. I've got the flexibility of time to be able to find a time that suits the parents. This is another thing as well, that meetings have to suit parents. And sometimes I have one parent with me in school and I might have another one on a Zoom call. And it's about being kind. It's about being flexible and saying, which of these suit you? It's about just handing that back to the parents and going, what time would suit you as well as suiting me? And people really appreciate that. You know, they appreciate just a cup of tea and being given choices.
Yeah, I think as school, we sometimes feel like we want to have all the strings, we want to be in control. It kind of frightens us. But you talk about in the book being honest. I think you put professional honesty. You say, I don't know this, but I'm going to go to this and find out, or we can find out together. And there's a real strength in that. And it would last week we were talking about early career teachers with Andrew Taylor, and I can think of a couple of stories from my NQT year with children who had particular needs and making incorrect decisions and not necessarily being supported or guided enough. What would your advice be for those early career teachers uh, to build those relationships, to get to work towards that point where they can have that professional honesty with those parents in their new class?
I think when I was in my first year of teaching, I did a big faux pas, which was a parent came to see me about their child and their additional needs, and I didn't address it straight away, and it snowballed because I don't know why, I just thought it would go away. And my head teacher was brilliant, and he supported me and said, Ginny, when a parent comes to see you, always see them as soon as you can, otherwise it will come back to bite you. So I think it's really hard as an early career teacher, because I know I wanted to appear to know a lot.
Yeah.
So I think having a mentor who you really look up to. I had an amazing mentor, and if I was ever concerned or worried about something, I would go to see her and she would be in meetings with me and she would support me. So I think if you ever think you are going to be in a situation where you feel a little bit out of your depth, and I did have a mentor who supported me. We have those people who fill in paperwork with us, but I also think to have that person who buys you a cup of tea and sit down with you and just goes, yeah, I absolutely get it. So I think it's really important to have those people to support you, because I wouldn't, when I was an early career teacher, I wouldn't have felt comfortable going into those meetings by myself. I would have it's a bit like with the parents and myself. Well, it's just the same, isn't it? That we always need somebody to support us. So if in doubt, have somebody there who can support you. Or also say, if a parent catches you on the playground, I don't like playground chats. I'm just putting it out there. I don't like playground chats. I like to bring people in for a cup of tea. I just don't like the idea of the playground chat. I think it's awful for everyone. But if you are caught unawares, then you say, do you know what? I will find out and I will come back to you by the end of the week and do what you say you will do. I guess reflecting on it, that's one of my top tips is, if you say you are going to do something, give a timescale to it and do it.
I need you on my shoulder, Ginny, just every day, probably, for other things. I've got another question for you, though, Ginny. Your book, how will it help other Senkos out there? I mean, what are you hoping to, ensure that they can grasp onto if they read your book?
I think I hope there is an honesty to it, which goes, Ginny's written this book. She hasn't got all of the answers, but because she's sharing things that have gone wrong, you know, and I hope that comes across, that actually we all have to consider how we might do things differently next time. But then there are other things that I think are helpful, things to do with technology, because I am technologically not blessed, but as it is in the book, COVID arrived, and I suddenly stopped bartering about technology with my colleagues, and I had to actually do some, you know, proper technology. So I little technology hacks I think are great, about having another screen, about splitting your screen, anything that can save time, because we want to be with the children in the classroom. And I know, as all Senkos, if we're not careful, we end up in a dark room filling in paperwork. So things that can save us time. I also think we are allowed to say no. You know, oh, Ginny, you're really good at filling in forms. No, no, I'm not filling in your forms because oh, Ginny's really good with parents. No, that doesn't. No, I'm not. I'm not going to see all the parents. So I think this idea of saying no, or delegating to the right person, making the school admin your best friend ever, because they have so much paperwork to hand which they can pass on. I think they're all little tips that make my life easier, especially as I'm across 4 schools. When I started across 4 schools, I basically had a Tesco trolley that I was pulling with me, you know, behind the car. So I was like, right, I'm going paperless. And I went paperless through necessity. So it's about changing things to save us time, to make our life easier so that we can be with the children. My yum yum time, and I talk about yum yum time, my yum yum time is when I am with children. So when I can be with children by saving time in other ways, then I'm happy.
One of the things I learnt from your book, and I'm going to finish on this, Ginny, was how talented you are when there are 5 people in the room, you know, parents, you know, that you will have the pupil voice there, the class teacher, the educational psychologist, and maybe others, that you see it as your job and role, not only just to listen, but through summary, through very sharpened listening, that you draw and mirror back everybody's views and what's happened. And actually, the power of that is that people then know that it has been noted and it has been listened to, and there's an empathy in that, that actually it's not that it's just washed over us, that you will mark it at particular points and summarize, particularly if it's a long meeting. I just adored that. I was like, oh, Ginny, that needs to happen more, so that it's almost like we're all on the same page. We've all lived through that half an hour. This is what happened, and that you see that as your role, and that you listen to the quiet voices. And of course, the quiet voices might not have even spoken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The quiet voices, I'm so pleased you said the quiet voices. It gets me. I have had meetings whereby I have gone round and asked everybody if they would like to ask anything or say anything more. Oh, the quiet voice gets me every time. It gets me in my feels, because suddenly that person says one thing and it changes the whole meeting. But we have to listen for the quiet voices. I had a meeting, and this person, and it was a Zoom, this person had said nothing in the meeting. And yet I could just tell that they had so much to say. And when I invited them in, that became the outcome of the meeting, because of what they said. And I'm so pleased you brought that up because it is so powerful and yet can so easily be overlooked.
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
Ginny, it's been so good to have you on. I'm sure we could chat for hours more. Can I just finish with two things? There was one part of the book, and you were telling a story, and you said, my Sendco senses were tingling. And I just thought, you know what? That summarizes you. You are some kind of Senko superhero. And I absolutely love that. And thought, you know, if I need a Senko or I was the head, I would want you in school. And I'm just going to read two sentences that you wrote that I thought were really, really powerful. He said, through our strength, we can help parents to be strong themselves. Through our listening, we can make sure they are heard. Through our voice, we can help them to find their own voice.
Oh, Ginny, that's amazing. Do you do consultancy and go into other schools? And can people reach you and get advice? Can we get hold of you? I mean, everyone will want a bit of Ginny in their life, surely.
Yes, they should.
Well, I'm like a cake, like a
Yes.
Senko cake. Have a piece of Ginny.
Mm,
Yes, I do because my work within the four schools is part time. So yes, I do consultancy work. I work with primary Senkos. I work with secondary Senkos.
great.
I also do talks, and you can find me. I'm on Twitter at Sendco Girl, and my website is www.ginnybootman.com, and you will see my lovely red shoes, my lovely logo there as well. But yes, I'm doing lots of work to support Senkos, and a lot of what I do is a listening ear, and people bounce things backwards and forwards, and we have dialogues. When I go in, it becomes this um, it's a level dialogue. We discuss things and we change things together, which is absolutely brilliant. It's a brilliant role for me.
Oh, you've been great, Ginny. Well, there's no place like Ginny. That's what I'm going to say. Thank you for taking the time out today.
Oh,
And
thanks, Ginny.
you've been a real delight and give us some deep insight, actually, to the power of listening. I need to. I need a bit. I need some training. I'm not very good at listening. Oh God.
Thanks, Ginny.
Thanks, Ginny. Ginny is amazing. She is a beacon of how we all Senkos, need to be. She's
Absolutely.
just
What an inspiration.
yeah, yeah, loved her.
So good. I happily recommend that book. And the publishers, Independent Thinking Press, that have been very kind and have given us a code so people can get 20% off. So we will be sure to share that in the show links.
Great.
And last week,
Oh
we
yeah,
were giving away some copies of the lovely Andrew Taylor's book. We had lots of people on Instagram and Twitter finishing our sentences for us, didn't we, Jane?
yeah, yeah.
So
We had
we've got
great,
two winners. Would you like
great.
to know who they are?
Yes, please.
Oh, would you like to do Instagram winner or
Yeah,
Twitter winner?
Twitter winner.
Let's go to Twitter. So, Laura Fowler, our sentence was the best thing about having an ECT in school. And she finished it with getting a new view of your school and its practices.
Oh, that's good.
I like that. So,
Yeah,
we're going to whoosh
yeah,
Andrew Taylor's book over to you,
yeah.
Laura. And let's whoosh over to how many whooshes do you think I can get in? We're going to whoosh over to our Instagram winner. So Mrs. T loves to read. Nice handle. And she finished the sentence with the best thing about having an ECTs in school is their enthusiasm and new ideas that lifts the school and keeps us all wanting to try our best.
Oh, well, that is lovely about ECTs, isn't it? They're not bitter and twisted and moaning, are they? They're still
Not yet.
joyous. Not yet.
Not yet.
I wanted to finish the podcast on this book that everyone is raving about. And in my opinion, if you are in year 6, and this needs to be the second half of the summer term, this book by Matt Goodfellow, The Final Year. Oh, it is amazing. It is a story told in verse, and it's about a year 6 lad finding his voice, finding his place in the world, and finding his people. And I'm just going to read a couple of verse moments from this book right at the beginning, part 1, before we begin. I'm going to just read 2 sections actually, but the sort of setting the scene, you need to be able to pin this down. So you can see it in your mind as it plays out. Picture where it's happening. Imagine it's summer, a hot one. Leave the suburban semis to their leaf dreams and head for the city, straight into the streets that surround the centre. See how things are different? Yeah, it's tighter here. You can feel it. See the takeaways and neon-washed litter. The disfigured pigeons huddled under railway bridges and flyovers, buses, taxis, pizza boxes, vape shops. This is not a place of Labradors and lattes and electric Audis. This is a place of staffies and cider and exhaust pipe smoke. A place of one foot in front of the other, brother, because what else you going to do? See that tall, skinny kid with the ball in his hand saying, "See you later" to his mate? That's me. Nathan Wilder. Nate, 10 years old and a week away from the end of year 5. And I'm going to jump ahead just a bit.
Can we just have a moment? I mean, it's
no.
captivating, isn't it? I love it. It's not Labradors and lattes. So good. Go on, Jane. Go on.
I feel really guilty because I've got an electric Audi. I feel a lot of shame.
And you whoosh. And you whoosh.
I've got whoosh and electric Audi. What the hell? Yeah, I feel very shamed actually. I don't listen. I'm ruining the planet with me whoosh, and I've got an electric Audi. However, I did help a man who got punched in the face. I mean, I'm sure that's sort of
Yeah, I'm sure that absolutely wipes all the others out.
Oh dear. I'm jumping to part 3 here.
Okay.
End of year 5. So we know where he lives, but year 5 ends and you're going to go into year 6. But this is end of year 5. All through year 5, they've been telling us that next year will be tough, that we better be prepared for it, that it's a stepping stone to high school. Look, it's time to show what we can do, that it's SATs, that it's boosters and revision, and that it's a fishbowl. And everyone looks at the year 6s. And it's time to knuckle down and focus. And it's all worth it in the end. And it's the most important year of our lives so far. And we need to act like it. And it's all going to change after this year. So we need to enjoy it while we can if we're going to make ourselves proud. And it's time for us to step up and become top of the school. Yeah, it's the final year.
I just think how you manage to write a book in verse, I think that's the highest of talent, to be able to do that. But each one just grabs and really gets it the moment. Look, I'm lost for words because those words are doing the job.
Grabbed by the throat. I tell you what, when we interview Matt, so we're going to interview Matt. We haven't told him yet. You don't know. When we interview
Yeah, you're going to come on, aren't you, Matt?
You, me, and Matt, we're going to write the script for this, as in, like, it's going to be the TV show. It's going to be the, what's the ABBA one? What am I on about? Like, Mamma Mia, the final
Mamma
year.
Mia.
But better and grittier. Oh, it's so good. This is just no wonder this is taking the teaching world by storm. The final year, Matt Goodfellow. Heather, yeah, over to
I'm
you.
delighted you chose that book. Can I just I feel like I need to whisper because at this moment in time, the subscription boxes haven't dispatched, but by the time this episode goes out, people will be realizing that that is one of the choices in the upper Key Stage 2 box for this term. So good choice, Jane. Before I do my wonder of words, I just wanted to shout out to I've only printed the first page, but this is a paper and it's really easy to read because it's a nice short summary of a little bit of research that Farshore have done, story time in school. And this wonder of words bit, I love this bit of the podcast where we just get to read aloud. Absolutely one of my favourite parts of the teaching day as well. But this bit of research has just come out this week and it shares some findings which I'll say we all, let's go back a bit. Lots of us know the power of consistent, and I think that word's important, consistent reading aloud and the impact that it can have on our pupils. But I love the way this paper talks about the impact on not only their comprehension and the reading achievement, but it's about the teachers as well, and the well-being and mental health. So grab yourselves a little look at that. And if you are not reading aloud to your class every day, that is my first tip for any school that asks advice about a reading for pleasure culture, is to make that time sacrosanct. Everybody has to do it, and we do it each and every day, and the benefits will be reaped. Little rant, but there we go. I'm going to move on. My choice this week is from Murder at Snowfall. For a few reasons. My daughter has been engrossed in her read at the moment. This book kills. She's onto YA books now, and she's been reading to me in bed, in the car, and she likes. And I just thought maybe that doom and gloom of Jane is rubbing off. I'm bringing a bit of murder to the moment. But also, I'm really excited this week because we are going to not Bath. We are going to Bath Festival, and we get to go and see Fleur Hitchcock. So I thought I'd bring a bit of this. I'm a bit of a fan of a prologue, but I love the device of this one. The prologue, you read it, and to be honest, I could have just read the last 7 words. They've got just as much punch, but with the part of the story that the prologue is, we get to in chapter 6. And I love that as a kind of story device where you get a snippet and then you go back and then into the story, and when you get to that moment you just ride over it. I think it's a great writing device for engagement. So here's the prologue. I bet there's a body in that. Lucas pulled his blazer tight around his chest. He pointed at the grey cabinet that had appeared in the lay-by a few days ago. Bet there isn't, I said, dragging my school skirt down to cover my frozen legs. Why would anyone leave a body here? Go on then, if you're so sure. Open it. I stared at the cabinet. It was waist-high, at an angle, propped against the skanky barbed wire fence. Sleet flakes were settling on the metal. It was probably colder than we were. I touched it. It was. Ow! I said. That's frozen. If I'd left my hand on there any longer, I would have got stuck. So, he said. I looked back at the cabinet. It was actually big enough to put a body in. Suppose you're right. But you said I couldn't possibly be. Go on. Open it. I wish I hadn't. I did.
Oh, God. Whoa. Do you know my stomach dropped then? So
Would you have
good.
opened it, Jane?
Yeah, I'm naughty. I would have opened it, but
Oh,
Skanky.
no, you'd have been the one egging someone on, wouldn't you? Going, go on, open it. You're like the voice on the shoulder. Go on.
Skanky, bring that word back. That sounds like my brummy upbringing, that bit
Yes,
skanky.
skanky. Jane, we forgot to tell people
What?
how they could win
Mm.
Ginny's book.
Oh, tell me now then.
How can they win? Well, we're going to do
Oh
a
no,
finish
I'll
a
tell
sentence
you. I'll
again.
tell you. We always finish a sentence when we're going to give away stuff, and this week the sentence is: being a Senko is like. We want to hear from Senkos. We think this book deserves to go to Senkos. So we're reaching out to the Senkos out there so we can give these books a good home. Are you doing anything good this week, Heather?
Yeah, another busy week ahead.
Mm.
I've got 2 amazing virtual author events. I'm so lucky to get to host those. Please do check them out, listeners, on our website. We've got Sophia Ahmed and Maz Evans and the
Oh,
new
amazing.
Who Let the Gods Out series, Oh
Yeah,
Maya Gods. I
yeah.
mean, we've been waiting for a good Mayan book to match the history curriculum, and of all the people to write one, boom, she's someone else we need to get on here.
Oh yeah,
Well,
definitely.
she's coming to Cornwall to do some author events in a week or two, so I'll have a chat with Maz then, and then I'm going to an English Hub Teachers Conference in Saltash, so that'll be nice. What about
Nice.
you?
Well, this week I was doing my Fantastic Foundations course where we're really getting under the skin of emergent writing with 4 and 5 year
Oh,
olds and the nine
that sounds
stages.
exciting.
Yeah, 9 stages of emergent writing. What are they? If you're in early years, do you know the 9 stages of emergent writing? So that you can really look out for progress and value it. But what made me laugh this week was Sarah, one of the early years teachers who was there. She was saying, like, we are putting word center stage in our practice. And this one moment, she was saying this week they showed a picture. They were trying to get beyond happy, and this one child said, she felt pride, and she was so proud of the word. She kept saying pride, 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 and her friend wiggled at her jumper and went, "It's not pride, it's not pride," and like really loud, stopping the teaching and
Yeah.
learning. It's like, all right, well, listen, what is it? Could be better. It's not pride. You call it prime. You know the E number drink that you have.
When you said she was wiggling her jumper, I thought you were going to say it's Primani.
But it's like, yeah, it's this blue off your nut drink that's overrated.
Yeah, and
No, it's not a good word like pride. It's the crap drink, prime. Yeah, but she was correcting her. Like, it's not pride. It's called prime. Oh, my life.
and what have you got coming up this week then?
Oh, I don't know. You know me, I'm on the road. I'll tell you what, I'm doing hooked on books training on Friday in London. But,
Oh, nice.
reading. Bit like you, babe. We care about books, don't we?
We certainly do. And that seems like maybe a nice note to finish. It's been a good episode. Again, how did we manage it?
I love it. I love the way we compliment ourselves. We've been great, haven't we? Yeah.
Have a sticker. Oh, no. Do you know what you need, Jane?
What?
Have a wash.
Thanks, babe. I'll have a whoosh. Better than a punch in the face. Anyway. So we've come to the end of another wonderful The Teacher Squad podcast. So it's Heartburst
From Jane and big love.
from Heather.
See you next week, everyone.
See you next week.